Hello everyone, Kent Bressler here. I want to welcome you to Kent's Kidney Stories. During our time together over these podcasts, I'd like to discuss kidney disease. I'd like to tell you about my journey as a transplant patient, but also talk about dialysis, kidney donation, and just about anything else that might be of interest. Kent's Kidney Stories, a podcast endorsed and sponsored by kidneysolutions.org. Hello everybody, Kent Bressler here. And we're going to be doing an AAKP Kidney Anniversary tribute today. But first, let's have a little prayer to get us started. Lord Jesus, we ask you to bring your healing touch to those whom we know to be sick, afraid, or worried. Bring them your peace and healing. All in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Well, this morning, it's okay. This morning, I'm going to tell you it's morning. When you listen to this, it probably could be any time of the day, as I know I would have people listening at early in the morning, 3 o'clock, whatever, and in different lands. But I wanted just to introduce Margaret Baggett. I hope I pronounced his name. I'm sure
right.
that's pretty close.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Always it.
And Margaret's an interesting gal. She's an AAKP, American Association of Kidney Patients Advocate, and she's from Columbia, Missouri. And I have some tie. Jefferson.
I'm from Jefferson City, Missouri.
Hey, yeah, Jefferson City. My fault. I was in Columbia for a while. That's the problem. So anyway, went to school there and also had worked at the VA. So Margaret's gonna tell her story. It's I don't want to take any fluff from her. So Margaret, tell us about your kidney journey.
Thank you, Kent. I was hospitalized in December of 1999, and I was very sick. I was off of work for a while, recovering, but I don't really think it was until 2001 that I was diagnosed with kidney disease. That was the time my primary care doctor sent me to a nephrologist. In 2003, I had to retire because of my health, and that's not fun. I was like 56 years old. I continued to work part-time. I worked in computer work, and it was just impossible to be accurate enough for the work, and also I felt very sick, as many of you know, who have kidney disease. So I retired in 2003. So I retired because of my health, which is definitely not a fun way to retire. So I wasn't happy about it. I found myself very useful, though, because each of my parents lived to be 95, and I looked after them. So my family needed some sort of slightly disabled person who wasn't going to work. And so I looked after my father and then my mother. Like I said, they each lived to be 95. Let's see. The first AAKP convention we went to was in 2007. It was in St. Louis, Missouri. And we go to St. Louis quite frequently. And we just stayed one night in a hotel, and we went to meetings all day Friday and all day Saturday, and then headed home. Well, that was really good for us because we knew nothing about kidney disease. My doctor, there's just be gloom and doom for her to tell me what it was all, and we just learned so much at that first convention. The next year, 2008, the convention was in Washington, D.C., and we didn't go. I was very sick, and my calendar was full of doctor's appointments. I was getting all the tests for getting on a transplant list, and I was also getting ready to go on peritoneal dialysis. So I went on dialysis in October of 2008, and I liked the dialysis. I had a part-time, even though I retired, I continued to have a variety of part-time jobs. And I had a part-time job that I really enjoyed. I was giving tours at the capital, Jefferson City, the capital of Missouri, even though it's not a large city. And I was able to continue doing that after I went on dialysis. I went on dialysis on October of 2008, and the next spring in April, I got a letter that I was on the waiting list. And I got on the waiting list, and then I got my transplant in September of 2009. So I went on dialysis in 2008, and I got my call for my transplant. I got it actually, since this is September 9th that this is being recorded. That was the day I got my call. It was September 9th, 2009. So that is 9 for September 2009. I noticed in the paper that many Chinese couples were getting married that day because it means forever. But my transplant was actually in the wee hours of September 10th, 2009.
Let me ask you something, Margaret. Let me ask you something real quick.
Uh-huh.
When you say you got the call, so you had a deceased donor, is that correct?
That's correct. I had a deceased donor. The person, I passed the antibody test really easily. Of course, it was the right blood type. Actually, the kidney transplant was not a real good match. It just met, I think I understood there were 7 points. It only met on 1 point of this. And so perhaps I'm taking a little more anti-rejection medicine than some people are. But it's gone so well for me that, yeah.
11 years, right? 11 years?
Yeah. I really,
You mentioned that right before we got the transplant, we had attended the AAKP meeting in Denver.
Yeah, we attended the AAK meeting in Denver just a few days before.
You could have had a problem there.
I didn't tell my dialysis, the transplant that I was going, because my doctor said, "Oh, maybe years before you get called." But I came home, and just maybe days later, I got the call for the transplant. So we did go to the Denver AAKP. We've gone to quite a few. I think we've gone to 11. I don't think we've missed any. And it's, we do it because we enjoy the conventions. It's also an opportunity to travel. Yeah, we haven't missed any since then. Yeah.
So Margaret, we had a little glitch there. Did you say that you got in trouble for going to the convention in Denver?
No, I didn't tell anybody at my dialysis clinic that I was going to the convention.
We got back
in time before I got my call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, they did try to call me, but they were calling to schedule a second EKG for me, and we didn't know for sure what that was about. So.
Well, you play hooky once in a while, you get away with it, but you got back in time, so.
Yeah, we got back. Yeah, we got back. I guess it would have taken us a while to get back from Denver. We flew, and
I may have got you off track a little bit, but how did the transplant go? The actual transplant itself?
Well, they were amazed how quickly my readings were good after the transplant. I was just immediately after the transplant, I knew I was better.
Yeah. So, how did you feel?
I felt good. I knew that I had a successful transplant. Yes. There's no delay.
Right. You talk to transplant patients, and that's exactly what they say. But when I got it going, it was almost immediate. So that's good. Yeah. So that guy that's behind you, that's William. That's your husband, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you can.
You can call me Bill.
I only have one name amongst
Oh,
others,
good.
but
That's good. It's too confusing otherwise.
that's right. So Margaret, tell me something here. Do you have any children? Do you guys have any children?
No, we don't. We got married a little late. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering because sometimes they play a big role in transplants. What was the most interesting thing about the whole transplant process to you? The most interesting thing?
Oh, it's just how amazing that the miracles of modern medicine. I mean, years ago when I first heard about transplant, I thought, well, that's science fiction. I didn't, but then it happened to me. So yeah, and Columbia, is only 30 miles from Jefferson City, so it's not been hard to go for checkups, and they're very good there. I'm just very impressed. Yeah.
Okay, good. So have you had any? Tell us what kind of medicines you're on.
Oh, I'm on 3 anti-rejection medicines, like most people are. I'm on prednisone. I'm on Prograf, which is also tacrolimus, and I'm on myfortic acid, or I think it has another name.
Yeah, myfortic. Yeah. Okay. So essentially, that's a pretty standard. And your dosages, have they reduced that over the period of time? Are you on your maintenance dose now?
Oh, yes. By now, this is 11 years. They did have to increase one of them they did have to increase the tacrolimus 0.5 milligram one time, lately, actually. But yeah, they reduced it in the first year quite a bit. And so, yeah, now they did just tweak it by adding 0.5 milligram of tacrolimus.
Yeah.
So it makes it just a little bit more complicated, but not really.
No, because you got to do it as part of your life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think of it any other way. That's just part of my life. It's something I have to do. It's like driving or walking or getting groceries.
Yeah, well, I have my cell phone. It rings at 8 in the morning and 8 in the night. And
so in this whole process, did you ever consider getting a living donor? Did you think about that? Was it considered?
Oh, yeah. Before my transplant, I had a cousin. I had at least 3 people who offered in some way to do it, but they never went and had tests. I had a cousin, a sister-in-law, and a good friend. Each of them said that they would give a transplant, but maybe their blood type was wrong, or maybe they were just, maybe they were just saying that. Oh, my cousin was quite a bit older than me, and she offered, but she was kind of insist. I do too have a good kidney, even though she was older. Oh, she's 9 years older than me, and I don't know if it would have been a good deal that way.
But we know for you're not going to get a donor that's healthy. The kidney cell patient's healthy, because that's going to put a kidney that's not healthy in a person who needs one. It just doesn't. So,
she probably was healthy, But,
sure.
like I said, my parents lived to be 95, and her parents lived to be 95. Even though she was older, it probably was. And my husband, he offered, but he had the wrong blood type. And another friend of mine, she had the universal blood type of blood, but her doctor didn't recommend her give it. So yeah, there were quite a few people. There was discussion about that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least it was entertaining. That was good. So you really weren't on dialysis that long.
No, I wasn't. No.
And so you got some people I know that we worked with in Kidney Solutions are out 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
I know. That was a miracle right there.
Yeah.
My mother was a person who got things done, and she was up in heaven, and I think she used her connections.
It's perfect. I'm sure of it.
She was the one that got it done. We give her credit.
Yeah.
Up in heaven.
So you were actually, don't slap me now. You were in your 60s when you were transplanted?
Yes, I must have been 62.
63.
I was 63. Yeah. My birthday was just a week ago, so it was right then.
Yeah, you almost had it on your birthday. Wow, wouldn't that have been something?
No, yeah.
Well, you would have. That would have been a week earlier.
Yeah, I turned from 62 to 63 a week before. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to ask ladies their age, but in this case, it's important because people who they always think, well, I'm 50 years old, I can't get a transplant, and
Yeah.
I have people up in their 70s that have had transplants. So
I know.
right?
Yes, and the opportunity to travel makes it so, makes it something you want, when you're older. That's what you look
Absolutely.
forward to doing when you retire. Yeah.
You work your whole life to get where you are, and you end up with kidney disease. That's hardly justice, is it?
Yeah, yeah. My parents lived to be 95, so I didn't think I was old at 60. Yeah.
Well, if people who are listening, they can do the math to figure out how old you are now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I know. I always say when somebody asks me my age, I say, a woman who tells her age will lie about anything.
That's true.
Because now it doesn't sound like a lot of fun to say how old I am.
No, I'm in the same boat. Yeah, you go this decade by decade by decade. My decade's starting to wear out. I'm on.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
What has been the most difficult part of this whole transplant process? You have a history of 11 years. What has been the hardest thing for you?
Sometimes when I travel, it's hard to take my medication as regularly. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a challenge when I travel. We do travel quite a bit.
Do you have any side effects that you can really lay upon the medications or the transplant? Are you experiencing any of those?
I've had a lot of trouble losing weight.
Okay. So you have some weight gain? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Circulation is good, though. Sounds to me like so.
Yeah.
I always ask, yeah. I ask because people end up having, some people just cannot take prednisone. They just can't do it. But essentially, it's something that needs to be taken and taken religiously. So you've done it for 11, and I've done it for a few years.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's the medication that keeps me from losing weight. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. But
I know people, take prednisone for something else. They still can lose weight while they're on it. And somebody else said my dose isn't a high dose. So.
Oh, it isn't. How many? You take
I think it's 5 milligrams.
Yeah, that's what I'm on. Been on that for 20 years. So yeah.
So, but I think diet and exercise helps you lose weight. And that's hard. That's a challenge for me. I've had some trouble with my legs. I had hammer toe surgery in each of my feet since I had the transplant, and then this summer I had arthroscopic surgery on my knee. So it's hard to get.
How did that?
Yeah, but I have been able to have these surgeries, and
sure.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't seem like all the things that happen to you in life are going to continue to happen.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any difference. The aging process takes its toll too. So, what would you recommend? What would you recommend to people who might be listening today or get to listen later on? What would you recommend they do to maintain longevity and keep their kidney healthy?
The thing that my doctors encouraged me lately, and I know I feel better, is I've been trying to keep hydrated, drink more water. They want me to drink a huge amount, but just drinking more has helped me feel better. And, I've made some attempts with a low salt, and I know before I had my kidney transplant, I know following a low salt gave me more energy and made me feel better. And that's my one restriction now. And it's still a challenge, you restaurant food and even what you can fix at home might not meet that way. So that's a challenge. The hardest challenge, I don't know, going to the doctor frequently.
Well, that might be something, to always follow what the doctor says.
Yeah, I do try to follow what the doctor says. Some people, I kind of raise my eyebrow at my friends who think they're smarter than the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there are times when you should question them, and I've made the mistake of not questioning them.
Sure.
That's kind of how I got into this. Yeah.
That's great. That's great advice, Bill and Margaret. That's great advice, because what's the use of paying a guy to go to him if you're not going to pay, or a gal pay attention to him? I mean, you go there for direction, right, and options.
Yeah, and at least discuss with you why you don't choose to follow it. You see your doctor as somebody that's going to help you. Who's going to give you the leap forward, and they do. Most of the time. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say never question them.
Oh no.
No.
Unless they. What were you going to say, Bill? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that I think that we have a pretty good kidney program at the University of Missouri.
Good.
I think the hospital. Don't they? You were saying they're more ahead of the game on the home dialysis.
They do the peritoneal dialysis
a lot.
Yeah.
When you go to these conferences, we don't find a whole lot of people that actually have done that. More of them seem to
get more and more.
We've been doing it from the beginning. Yeah. So when she did do dialysis, that's a different thing than the transplant.
Yeah.
So
do you exercise?
I had this knee surgery. I'm doing physical therapy. I just finished physical therapy. I'm trying to continue on that. I'm a Weight Watcher, and the Weight Watcher's expanded and includes keeping track of your exercise. So I set a goal each week, and then if I meet it, I raise my goal a little bit. Yeah, my husband exercises even more than I do, so he's kind of something to look up to, someone to look up to. But over the time, I had trouble with my knee. It was harder to exercise, and now I'm trying to get into it again. Yeah.
Well, I think it's one of the most important things you can do. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
I'm glad you're entertaining it.
One thing I like to do, and I can do, is swim. So.
Oh yes, it's good too.
When you have knee troubles, that's kind of good to be able to swim. Yeah.
Okay, so you look at your list there. I know you got a list. Did we cover everything?
Yeah. What were you going to say?
Well, I want to comment that she took care of her own parents, but a much larger job really was that she took care of my mom. And my mom had dementia of a very serious nature, and we kept her in our house, with Margaret being really the primary caretaker, for over 2 years.
Wow.
And then we...
This is after my transplant.
This was after her transplant, so I'm just saying that. And then we had her in assisted living and also, really memory care too.
Finally.
Sure.
But she had, and that was a big job that she did. I mean, somebody had to do it, and we were really left to be the ones to do it.
Yeah.
And so I just want to comment that she did that. That actually was much
over a longer period of time.
Much longer than taking care of her own parents, because her mother lived with us for a while. That was very hard. But that was only for a couple of weeks. My mom lived with us for 2 years, and it was.
Well, now I don't look back at so bitterly. It was a challenge at the time.
But it was a challenge, and she did it. She did it, and she was able to do it even with her transplant. I mean, I know it was hard, and I know that there's even a lot of things to it, but the fact is that she did it, and I think that's the thing. I mean.
Yeah, so I haven't been completely
idle. So I
haven't been completely idled in retirement.
Right, that's
There's other things we do too. We could talk about that, but we have had some travel. A year after my transplant, we had Alaskan tour, cruise tour, and that was kind of a lifetime dream for me to go to Alaska. And then a year ago, we took a trip to Israel. So. Even though I literally had to retire because I was sick in retirement, retire early because of my illness, we've certainly been able to enjoy retirement. So.
Well, I'm just going to tell you something. This has been a real blessing for me to be able to meet people like this. I got to tell you, you two are pretty interesting characters. And I think if they did to get to where you are age-wise, and to be as healthy as you are, and to have the attitude that you have, that's what people need to hear, because there's hope. There's always hope after someone gets a diagnosis of kidney disease. And I think that's the most important thing for people to understand. There is always hope. And you're a perfect example of that. Perfect example.
Yeah, it was not fun. You know, I retired in 2003, and I didn't get my transplant until 2009. So that's about 6 years of not feeling very good. But I did have part-time jobs, which kind of helped define me. You know, you hate retiring, but I did have part-time jobs. I did childcare a little bit. I was interested in food, so I worked as a dietary aide at one hospital and then the other hospital. But the most exciting job I had was I gave tours of the Capitol, Jefferson City's the Capitol.
Yes.
And I did that during the time I went on dialysis. So I was doing it when I was on dialysis. So that was a bit of a challenge because it was a strenuous physical job. The dietary aid work was strenuous physical. The fact that they were part-time made it so I could do them, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna thank you for coming on, and I want to just put a plug for AAKP, because I think that organization has been extremely helpful to the kidney patient. That's why I'm do what I do with AAKP, and having you on and Bill on today, I think is really interesting, but it's also gives people hope, and that's what I want to take away from all of this. So if you don't have anything else, I think we're gonna close down now, and if you have anything else, that's okay. If not, I'm gonna appreciate everything you've said this morning. I really do appreciate you guys coming on.
Okay, that's fine. We appreciate it too.
All right. Okay, folks, there you go. Margaret and Bill. You want to see them there? They're in Jefferson City, Missouri. This gal's fantastic, and the support she's gotten and given is what kidney disease is all about. So for now, this little kidney anniversary is going to continue. We're going to do a lot of people on their anniversaries. So from now on, just make sure that you realize there's always hope with kidney disease. And until next time, keep breathing.